Declan, it seemed to me that after 40 minutes, or when Dublin had gone 3-7 to 9 points ahead, that Kerry decided we're going to throw caution to the wind and press higher and more aggressively up the field. Because before that, when Dublin came up the field, they seemed to be able to hand pass to each other very far up the field without being under massive pressure by a Kerry defender. And they seemed to just throw that all out the window and go, just a bit more Gengen pressing or heavy metal pressing or whatever way Liverpool are talking about these days. Can a team do that for 70 minutes? Like, can you start out that way?
Exactly, that's the point. That is the point there, that I was going to throw that over to John a bit. If you look at Dublin, you can keep that work rate up for a certain length of time, but over 70, really what are games now, 80 minutes, like that is a lot of work. Like last night we would have seen on League Sunday where Eamon Fitzmaurice would have pointed out where there was almost 4, possibly 5 men around 2 Dublin players trying to create that little triangle to get themselves out of trouble. But I can remember Tyrone in 2018 up in Oma doing the same thing, like when they got a really good thing going in the Super 8s, the first year of the Super 8s, and they made a big long, a short burst in Oma and the hype. But the problem with that is always it's just the length of time that it's taken to do it, energy that you're expending doing that. Dublin are pretty good at it, but they're more about shepherding men down alleyways and blind corners, and turning them back then that they need to recycle. Whereas Kerry were just, when you commit that amount of people and then there's a kick pass on, then you can get really badly exposed. It takes so much work, it takes so much out of the players to do it.
Yeah, and I you're really on the ball there, because I looked at the bottom of my screen on the 2 or 3 previous, when they pressed Evan Comerford and pressed him hard on his scouts. That was actually a big turning point for Kerry. They got 2 or 3 scores, and Dublin got caught coming out of defence on 3 occasions in almost in succession. Though, but you're perfectly right. At the bottom of the screen, if from the camera viewpoint, is that here were 4 and 5 Kerry players taken out with 1 pass. So it's a highly dangerous, and when you cannot worry it's going over a long time, because you're running up and down the field now, not laterally. You've got to get players back. You can really get exposed in it.
John, how difficult is it to, you've coached teams at intercounty at club level, how difficult is it to coach patience on the ball from players? Because, Dublin are the masters of having the ball at one wing and swinging it the whole way around until eventually they can get someone bursting through a gap. Whereas, some players who aren't used to doing that and aren't as well, versed in it, they might run down blind alleyways, get themselves bottled up. How difficult is it to develop that?
Hugely difficult, because most guys, if they're in Croke Park in a big game, big game, they're treating the ball like a hot potato. They've made the pan pass before they've made the kick, the right move with it, and it's about being composed. My son was watching the game with me yesterday, and while I didn't answer him, I was concentrating on the game. I heard him saying on 4 or 5 occasions, why didn't they take the score? Why didn't Dublin take the score? And they moved it in, moved it out. God, they get to the high percentage. And then, as he said at the end, he answered it himself by, he said, wait until they got into a higher percentage position to take the score. That takes huge time, huge hours on the training field. Huge getting to know who the guy is with the left leg, the right leg, what the timing of the run is, and it takes a lot of time.